Hey friends, welcome. Today we will be discussing two more methods with the help of which we could determine the transport number. And these two methods are not discussed very much, but they can be used in the laboratory, and they are relatively simple and very easily we could determine the transport number. So the first method that is by the ionic mobility, and basically we know that the ionic mobility, or we may refer it as conductance. So this conductance is directly proportional to the speed of ion, or conductance of any particular ion, or conductance we know that it is the amount of electricity that is being conducted by the ions, and that conductance will be directly proportional to the speed of ion. More the speed of mobility of the ion, or more the speed of ion, more the electricity will be conducted. So we can write that lambda plus which is our equivalent conductance of the cation, so that will be proportional to the speed of cation. So u plus over here is the speed of cation, and in order to remove the proportionality sign, we can write it as lambda plus is equal to ku plus, and similarly the speed of our anion will be proportional to the equivalent conductance of our anion, that is u minus, we can write it is proportional to lambda minus, and in order to remove the proportionality sign, we can write lambda minus is equal to again k u minus. So over here k is the proportionality constant, and u plus and u minus are the mobilities of our cation and anion respectively, and the lambda plus and lambda minus are the ionic conductance or equivalent conductance of our cations and anions respectively. Now we all are very much familiar with the definition of transport number, that is transport number. Suppose if we write transport number of cation, then that will be equal to the speed of cation divided by the total speed of the ions, of all the ions in the solution, minus. And so this is the definition, and hence we have, or this both these terms we could rearrange and we could write in this particular manner, that is we can write u plus is equal to lambda plus upon k, and similarly we can write u minus is equal to lambda minus upon k. So we could substitute the values of lambda plus and lambda minus directly in this equation. So this equation we have obtained from the definition of the transport number, and that we could write it as lambda plus upon k divided by, we will have lambda plus upon k plus lambda minus upon k. So we can take k common in the denominator, and we will have lambda plus upon 1 upon k into lambda plus lambda minus, and sorry, over here also we will have k. So this k will be cancelled out, and we will be left with lambda plus upon lambda plus lambda minus. And we all are very familiar with the Kohlrausch law. So Kohlrausch law, it tells that that lambda infinity, that is the equivalent conductance at infinite dilution, is equal to the equivalent conductance of cation plus equivalent conductance of anion. So we could apply Kohlrausch law over here, and this we could write it as lambda infinity. So lambda plus upon, we will have lambda infinity, and that is our transport number of the cation. So simply in the laboratory we could prepare a series of solution, and from that we could find out lambda plus, and lambda infinity is already known. So that is the theoretical value, that is the concentration, or sorry, equivalent conductance at infinite dilution, and hence we can easily determine the transport number. Similarly, the transport number of our anion will be equal to lambda minus upon lambda infinity, or we also have the relation, that is t plus t minus is equal to 1. So if the transport number of any one of the ion is known, then we could easily determine the transport number of other ion. So this was one method which is very simple and very basic. The next method is EMF method. Now in this method we will be utilizing the concept of the concentration cells with transference and without transference. So we will be utilizing the equations of concentration cells with transference and without transference. So basically the concentration cells with transference, that means over here liquid junction potential is formed, and without transference, that means no liquid junction potential is formed. So basically when we are using say any salt bridge, like suppose if we are using say potassium nitrate salt bridge, then liquid junction potential will not be formed, and as a result that cell will be cell without transference. And if we are using a salt bridge having same ions, then that will be a concentration cell with transference. Okay, so I am not going in detail into the concept of concentration cells with transference and without transference, but just we will be looking at the equations obtained to determine the EMF, and then we will find out the transport number, as we are concerned with the transport number for this particular video. So the EMF of the cell that is without transference So first we will be looking at the equation of EMF of cell without transference. So that is when liquid junction potential is not formed, and when we are using KNO3 salt bridge. So the equation will be E is equal to we will have RT by F ln A2 upon A1. Okay, there are several forms, and this is, if we write WT, that is EMF of cell without transfer. There are several forms, and this is one of the simplest form. Over here we could take consider the valencies and the number of ions also. So accordingly the equation may change, but this is one of the most basic equation. So this is the equation for the electrochemical or concentration cells that is without transference, and we will have EMF of cell with transference. So that equation is given by we have, suppose, TA, wherein this TA in the subscript, it refers to the transport number of our anion, and that is equal to, we can write TA into RT by F ln of A2 by A1. So over here A2 and A1 are the activities of the electrolytes that we have taken. So A1 and A2 are the activities. A1 and A2 are the activities. Okay, so over here we have these two equations. Now what we'll be doing is we will be taking the ratio of this equation, that is, we will be dividing this equation with this equation. So when we divide this equation, we will have ETA upon E without transference, that is equal to this whole term, and this whole term will be cancelled out, and we will be left with only TA. So in this way we could easily determine the transport number of anion. Similarly, we can take ETC upon EMF of cell without transference is equal to TC. So this we can determine very easily the transport number of our cation. Okay, so in a very easy manner we could easily determine the transport number of the anion as well as transport number of the cations respectively. So experimentally what we could do is we could prepare a concentration cell wherein we are using, suppose say if we are determining the transport number of say silver ion or we can suppose we are determining the transport number of say silver ions, that is Ag plus and NO3 minus, then we could prepare a cell having different concentrations of AgNO3. That is, suppose we are preparing a cell in which we will have say 0.1 normal AgNO3 in one beaker, and in another beaker suppose we say that we are having 0.01 molar AgNO3. Okay, now we will be connecting this cell with a salt bridge one time, or first we will measure the EMF using say suppose saturated KNO3 salt bridge. So saturated KNO3 salt bridge. So when we are using saturated KNO3 salt bridge, so that will be our electrochemical cell with concentration cell without transference, and second time we are measuring it with say 0.1 normal AgNO3 salt bridge. So when we are using 0.1 normal AgNO3 salt bridge, then that will be the EMF, or that will be the concentration cell with transference, and whatever potential we obtained when we take the ratio of that potential, then that will easily give us the transport number of anion and cation respectively. So in this way transport numbers can be determined very easily, and both these methods are very much useful, and both these methods could be performed in laboratory, and we could easily determine the transport number of cations and anions. So so far we have discussed the transport number by say we have started with the migration of ion. We have understood the migration of ion. Hirschhoff's theoretical device we have seen. Then we have determined the transport number by Hirschhoff's method. Then we have determined the transport number by moving boundary method. Then we have seen the determination of transport number by ionic mobility and by EMF method. So these are the several methods with the help of which we could determine the transport number, and in next video we will be determining, or we will be looking at the numericals based on transport number. So till then, stay home, stay safe, and goodbye.